George wants Celtic to sign Braga. In the summary, he says Braga's a very humble young man. Watched his mate do a vlog on him. If Celtic can't win the league, last game of the season, we play the Lisbon Lions that are still with us and Susan Boyle to help Hearts win. That's a good idea. That's worth considering.
By the way, it's a good point. It's a good point, and the Hearts fans, McInnes, won't want to hear me saying it, but Celtic would be off their head if they're not picking up the phone to try and at least have a discussion with Tony Bloom about what it might take to get Braga out of there.
He's a terrific player, Braga.
Absolutely, all day long.
Really
I think I think the majority of Hearts fans realise Braga is likely to be, it'd be brilliant for Hearts if they could talk him into another year. But the whole Jamestown model points to he's reaching. He'll reach a big number in the market, and I think it's very likely that he could move on this summer. Now the question is, we know what the English Premier League attitude is to guys in the Scottish League. It's not great. They look down their noses at it a little bit. Tony Bloom won't, obviously. Tony Bloom, I wonder if he might see a pathway into Brighton, but it's unlikely. So you're probably looking at a Championship level club for Braga, which seems silly given the size of the contribution he's made this season. But if I was a club with a bigger budget in this country, within these borders, why would I not be asking the question? Just keep me informed. If you're going to sell him, let us know. I'll see what I can do to better whatever offer you get from a Championship club.
How much?
Fair play. I think Hearts would be well within the rights to expect upwards of £5 million from him. And I don't think that's an unreasonable number. Look, things can get silly. You can get into a Dutch auction if you've got all of a sudden 3 or 4 English Premier League clubs decide to show an interest. But I just think that's unlikely given the way that they kind of look down their noses at our game. And Celtic should be able to compete financially with anybody in the Championship if it comes down to putting a deal on the table that's attractive to Hearts.
I mean, Mizuno in the comments, Scott says 7 million. I think that's perfectly reasonable given this season.
I think I tend to agree with Jacko. Just before he said that, 5 was probably the figure that I was thinking. When you think where Hearts plucked him for and how much they got him for, I mean, what a deal that would be to get £5 million in after one season. And I keep going back to it. I know Hearts fans don't want to hear it, but I think it was at a fans forum where Tony Bloom said to the supporters, "Look, don't get too attached to these players because they'll not be here that long." I mean, Braga to me falls into that category. I mean, he's an absolute hero there already.
Don't get too attached. Just make up a song to him.
Exactly. Whole season.
And sing it constantly for the whole season.
Actually, that's it. So they'll be absolutely devastated if he goes, but you can't have it both ways. You can't want Jamestown and Tony Bloom on board.
Yeah.
When their model is exactly that, you need to accept that that's the deal, and you need to be content in your own mind that as a supporter that it's fine. All right, Braga is a hero, we love him, but if he goes, no, don't worry, there'll be another one coming in. There'll be another one along the line. Now, listen, it might not pan out like that because clearly you don't get every signing right. He's one that's totally worked for them. I agree with Jacko. If Celtic and Rangers are looking at him and are seriously interested in him, they must be off their heads because he'd be perfect for. We've talked about it on here. He's perfect for Scottish football, Braga, because his attitude and his work rate and his desire and his hunger and appetite. I think that comes from where he's come from. I think you kind of one of these guys that appreciates where he is and everything that he's got. So I'd be amazed if the old firm I'm asking about him. But if you're a Hearts fan, you're gutted, but you just need to accept. Probably same with Kizaridis. I know he's been a bit off the boil in recent weeks, but he'll be another one that teams are looking at come the summer.
The other thing is though, before we're accused here of selling off this Hearts side that might win the title, there is another way of looking at it, and that is Jamestown, the analytics, the data. Tony Bloom himself, Derek McInnes, where are they? Where are they in the conversation? Because there might be a strong argument to say, do you know what? Yeah, if we sell him this summer, we could get 5, 6, 7 million. I'm telling you now, you keep him 12 more months, you might sell him for double that. And I know there's a bit of a gamble in that, because what happens if he gets injured now? But if he repeats what he's done and he continues to grow and progress in the manner in which he has over this season at Hearts, what sort of a player and what sort of a value have you got 12 months down the line? And that might be a decision that has to, and a discussion that has to take place. But you know, the indicators are, and as you said, Scotty, that what Tony Bloom's already sort of warned the fans does make you think if they get a really good offer, they'll find it hard to turn it down. They will then have confidence in their own system to go and scout the next guy, the one that can come in and do a similar job. But yeah, there might also have to be factored into that discussion. You know, yeah, he's good, really good now. How good might he be next summer? Do we keep him for 2?
Especially if he does
and
it.
given everything that Hearts are trying to build, that would make sense as well.
Yeah. Especially if he does it in the Champions League, which I'm only saying half tongue in cheek. You never know.
Yeah.
Who knows? Let me finish those comments. Sing the Blues says, if people are saying 27 million for Engels, Braga should be 30 million. This one from McKenna says, difference in the title race, goals. Rangers are scoring plenty. Shank's back with 5 in 2 games. John says, why don't Rangers just take a break up Loch Lomond? Sounds like an idea. Sing the Blues says, the Rangers team should be tackling the Ghislaine Sands. Players are spoiled these days. And Marzuno says,
Scotty was going to do that the other day.
Aye. Wasn't there enough defibrillators for that?
Marzuno says, get Susan Boyle in as a special appearance and goal on the final day if necessary. That would be a fitting end to the current season if that happened.